You're listening to the Platte River Bard. OmniArts Nebraska opens its 12th season with this play, Cock, written by Mike Bartlett, which will be performed at the Johnny Carson Theater at the Leeds Center for Performing Arts, February 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
We met two of the creatives in this play. Christian Novotny, they are the director, and actor Reed Westerhoff, they are performing the lead role of John. Our conversation takes place at the Mill at Innovation Campus, so you'll get a little bit of coffee shop ASMR in the background on this one, as well as hear about this candid play.
Both Christian and Reed have their theater roots firmly in Lincoln. We talked with Christian first about their background.
I'm from Lincoln originally. I'm a graduate of UNL, the Johnny Carson School of Theater and Film.
Nice.
I studied acting and directing there. After college, I worked for the Haymarket Theater for a couple of years, with their youth programming, so I directed a few of their youth shows.
Nice.
At the end of their tenure at 803 Q Street before the building shut down, unfortunately, I had the opportunity to direct Annie Baker's The Aliens there. And then since the pandemic kind of shut everything down, I've slowly gotten in the track of working again both as an actor and a director. I've worked for Angels Theater, I've worked for Flatwater Shakespeare a few times as a performer. I've worked with Lincoln Community Playhouse. I was in Calendar Girls. I've done Nebraska Community Players. I was in Noises Off as well.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a lovely show, Noises Off.
Who are you, Noises Off? Just curious.
I was Tim. I've actually worked on that show twice. I worked on it when the Haymarket did it. I stage managed it, and then I got to play the stage manager the next time I worked on it.
Oh, that's such a crazy fun job.
And it's a hard stage management job.
Oh, my
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
For sure.
How about you, Reed?
Yeah, I got my start actually in improvisational theater, and then got my degree in performance at Nebraska Wesleyan University.
Wesleyan!
I've been in Lincoln ever since. I've worked with just about everyone around here, but I primarily work with Flatwater Shakespeare. I'm mostly an actor, but I'm also, I think my kind of niche, the thing I like sharing, I'm a violence and intimacy coordinator. So on stage, and that's actually what I've been doing with OmniArts for the past 2 or 3 years. This is my first time actually performing with OmniArts. It's really fun.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm violence and intimacy, so anytime that there's danger of someone being harmed, I step in and make sure that there are safeguards in place and that everyone knows what they're doing to make sure that no one gets hurt physically, emotionally, mentally, anything like that. And then I also educate with that as well. I teach with Flatwater Shakespeare, teach middle schoolers in the summers, come out for that, a little bit fierce. And I occasionally have the opportunities to work with Peru State College as well.
Join us for this thoughtful conversation about this production you don't want to miss.
Give us a little overview about what the story is. I know we've seen things out on social media and the website and what this show is about, but in your words, what do you think this show is about, and what is it? It's obviously meaningful as well. It has some meaningful parts.
Yeah, this show is ultimately about John. He's the only named character in the play, so he is the protagonist.
Okay.
But it's about him as he is discovering his sexual identity. He is leaving one relationship with a man and then starting another relationship with a woman, and then gets cold feet about leaving the first relationship and doesn't know if he wants to leave. And so it's his struggle of which way do I go with my life at this point in time. And so, yeah, the first half of the show, you get to see John with each of the respective partners, and then the back half of the show, they're all coming together to have a dinner with each other to push John to make a decision.
How is that for you?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big role, and it's a heavy show. There's a lot in it. I think the big thing in this right now is recognizing that as we're looking at one relationship ending and another beginning, often in real life we would hope that they wouldn't overlap too much. Mm-hmm. And in this show we really see them kind of clash as they're forced to occupy the same space. And that has been a wonderful challenge to take on, exploring these characters. Mike Bartlett has written such an incredibly insightful script. It tells us as the actors, and hopefully in time the audience as well, exactly what the characters are thinking, exactly what they're feeling. So entering that space, the lines kind of start to fade away a little bit, and it becomes a little bit more just living in it. And that's been very nice to explore.
So then if you're the main character, how many other actors do you have?
There are 3 other actors.
So it's really, small.
Yeah, we've got
Small cast.
the man that John has been with, played by Anthony Delaney. We've got Francoise Traxler as the woman that John is with, and then the father of Anthony's character is played by Stephen Buhler. And if you don't know all of those names, you will in time. Truly some of the greatest talent in Lincoln.
Nice.
Christian has put together an absolutely incredible group of people to tell this story, and it's made every part of it so much fun.
So from someone who wants to be a butt-in-seats person, what is the most enticing thing that you can tell them about this production so that they make sure that they get their ticket and come?
Well, an interesting thing that Mike Bartlett has done with this script is that he requires it to be performed with no mime, no props, and no set. We've decided to put this in an arena setting, so in the round, to kind of emphasize the sport of this conflict. So you can root for either side, and then you have that community engagement of like seeing the people across from you engaging with the story and seeing their reactions to it.
Interesting. So this character, even though they find themselves attracted to both male and female, they still identify as male. So they don't see it as being someone who is attracted to both sexes and wants to accept that they're attracted to both sexes. Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
there's what I'm trying to say.
There's conversations in the play about who John is. A big crux of the end of the show is pushing John to make a decision of who he is, whether he be gay, he be straight, he's bisexual. It's discovering who he is.
He's still in the process of figuring that out. Okay.
And I think another big point of the show is talking about it's being more important who the person is that you love and not what they are.
Right.
How they treat you as opposed to who they physically are.
This particular production is more, does it have comedic parts to it, or is it really very much drama?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of wit in what Mike Bartlett has written, and so there's a lot of comedy in how they treat each other, how they're mean to each other, and how the payoff from that is where there's comedic catharsis through it.
I think as with most dramas and tragedies, you have to have the humor in there because it kind of makes the darker moments hit that much harder, and then those darker moments make the comedy that much funnier. I like to talk about just how human this play is.
Please.
I think there's just so many elements of this play and in every character that I think a lot of people can identify with. Mm-hmm. And I think especially adults, people in their, and I'm talking like people in their 30s and up, I think many of us can identify a moment in time in our lives where we hit a crossroads, where we had to make a decision who we were, what we wanted in life. And I think this play captures that in such a beautiful way and examines the way different people interact with that moment. Mm-hmm. And I hope that people do not get distracted by the elements of this play that they do not understand, that they do not identify with, and are able to get to that core, that human core that is for people desperately trying to survive, and in the only ways that they know how.
But what an interesting concept to have a play that doesn't have any props, right? No props.
See, I don't even know how you do that.
How do you do that?
And you said no mime either.
Yeah, no mime either.
So you can't mime it?
No. Unfortunately. Well, because the way the dialogue's written, it's so pointed at different moments. You get to play with space between the actors. Do they come to each other at a moment? Do they go away from each other at a moment? Are they looking at each other? Are they not looking at each other?
Okay.
And those decisions then influence how the audience is interpreting what's going on.
For sure.
And because it doesn't have all that, it also strips back the drama, so you get to focus more on the language of what's actually happening, and it elevates that to a plane where you get to look at this through a different lens because of that.
Yeah. Did you find that to be difficult at all to direct or even to act with those? Sorry, did you find that?
it has its challenges. For sure, it has its challenges because when you do theater, you're relying so much on what is set up in the script. They go behind the couch or they do this with this thing. But when you take that away, it opens up the door for more exploration in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest takeaway for me, is not having to worry about anything else has really just allowed me to focus on the language, focus on the characterization, the relationships between everyone, and not whether or not I remembered to grab the thing that I need to grab from the side of the couch to play with.
Right.
We don't need that. We just need to know that he starts fidgeting.
Right. That's interesting. So what about,
I like that.
How are you doing anything different than with light design or that type of thing? Are you able to create any other different atmosphere for those scenes?
Yeah, there'll be some lighting design. There's not really much in terms of sound internally while the show's happening. There's some transitions in between the scenes, but aside from that, it's really carried by the actors. This is really an actor's show, not a designer's show.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
And what an exciting role for you.
It
it
is.
just sounds like it's meaty. It just has so much.
A lot of lines, folks.
Yeah, it's a lot of lines, and it's something that I was surprised by how much of myself I found in John. Once we started really digging into the script,
nice.
the struggles that he goes through, these urges and yearnings that he has and doesn't understand how to communicate, although certainly not the same as I experienced in real life, but these parallels that are there.
Similarities,
it's a wonderfully, it's just human, and it's beautiful to experience, and I hope that once audiences are in seats and watching it, I hope that they are experiencing it along with us.
Yeah,
That's cool. Sounds like good casting, my friend.
absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
You always love to hear that from your actor. I could see a lot of myself in this role. You're like, yes, I did it right. I did it right.
They knew exactly what they were doing, casting everyone in this play.
That is awesome.
This play being written around 2008 and then produced
when it
over several years after that, I think it's really interesting that it came at a point where online dating was really taken off.
Okay.
I think societal expectations of that, through those experiences, you're trying to be narrowed down into certain boxes, certain types. Are you gay? Are you straight? Are you monogamous? Are you polyamorous? And it forces you to kind of define yourself. And I think this is a play that explores more shades of gray in the world, where things aren't so black and white, where you can't necessarily narrow everything down into such specific things. And that's something I really enjoy about this script, that it allows for things to be on a spectrum.
So if 2008, even since then, so many things have changed in that.
Oh, absolutely.
So did you find any difference in the play that you felt that was dating it to?
Yeah, as you looked
time?
at it, yeah.
There's a couple
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe.
There's a couple word choices in some of the heated moments that I think are a little dated in terms of where we're at right now. I also feel that the script was really ahead of its time, being written from when it was written to now.
It sounds like it.
Because we're having a lot more conversations about these topics now than we were 20 years ago, almost.
Easy.
And were you at all tempted to change those words?
We've had discussions about it, but unfortunately, with our contract with dramatists,
stayed
we
with
can
it.
we can only change
Yeah.
little bits here and
Little
there.
bits,
Yeah.
yeah.
Before you do
That does
stuff,
make it
yeah.
difficult, especially if you feel like it's marked,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to make it more timely. No matter what.
Do you
kind
like
of
to, as
show
a
it is.
director, do you like to do the curtain speech, or would you rather not?
I don't mind at all.
don't mind that?
I've enjoyed it over the years.
That's fair enough. Some directors hate doing it.
I
It's
really
don't
like
make me
to
go out
see
there
it.
and say anything. Was Cock a project that you said, hey, here's this play, I want to direct this play? Or did they say, okay, here, this play's on the docket, who wants to direct?
I actually brought it to Dustin.
You did bring it to Dustin. Okay. I always find this fascinating
that's
because
awesome.
sometimes it's like, oh, hey, I saw this, I wanted to do it. And sometimes, so you did bring it.
Yeah, I had auditioned for Marjorie Prime when they were producing that.
yeah.
I unfortunately didn't get cast. My good friend John Paul Zuhir got cast in the role.
For sure.
But through auditioning with that, for that project, Dustin had reached out to me about maybe creating an artistic collaboration on some level for me and the company. And so I showed up with several scripts, this being on the top of the list.
This is top of the pile, yeah.
And we had a nice conversation about it, and that's what leads me here.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a
That
great
is
opportunity
awesome.
for
That
both
is
of you,
awesome.
really.
I like it. I know there's more and more plays and productions that are addressing these kind of issues. Is this the first time you've been able to hit a production that's actually addressing sort of more modern type issues about sexuality and gender and all that sort of thing? Because I know not everybody gets to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there have been.
Because we've been talking with a lot of folks lately who are doing these kinds of
Yeah.
plays, and they're really coming to the forefront now. And I'm like, this is the first time you've been able to do it.
yeah. I think there are a lot of these plays that, like Christian said earlier, that are being written and produced nowadays because it's on the front of everyone's cultural mind.
Exactly.
But then you also have to view it through the idea that when it's not an issue, when it's your life, everything you touch becomes just a little bit connected to you.
For sure.
So I've maybe not necessarily scripts that directly deal with it themselves, but every production I touch, I bring that lens to, and I think, and I ask my friends to do that as well. You know, when I have the opportunities to direct, when I have the opportunities to collaborate, I think every lens is important because it's going to color the production that we make. Everything is unique. That's the beauty of live theater, is it's going to be unique and in the moment every time. And then the next time you see it, it's going to be entirely different because the first one's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Which is the great thing about theater is once it's done, it's done. No, that was what I was hoping you would say. Is that
A wonderful setup then.
everything that you're touching when you hit the stage has some of you with it because it's unavoidable. We're not robots. We can't just say, okay, I'm this now. It's like, no, you always bring some of you, and that's why directors will cast people like that because they like that part of you for this character. It's like, ooh, yes, let's put that together. What does that do?
Love to work with other artists.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. And it sounds like you guys have a great collaboration going, especially because it sounds like, man, 80-90% of the show is you?
Something like that. Sure.
Just got done doing Wit this past year, and it's like 80% the main character, the lady who's dying of cancer, and then there's, a couple of doctors and some, like a little stable of 4 people who just do various things, they're interns and they got a line here and a line there, but so much of the show is that one person. Not to put any pressure on you, but
No pressure.
No, believe me, you could not put any more pressure on me than there already is.
then you're putting on yourself. Good for you, because that's what I would do. It's like you can't do anything to me. I'm doing it all.
we are always our own harshest critics,
Right.
I think.
Aren't we though?
Exactly.
And that's why it's wonderful to have a director who can kind of cut through that and like, hey, actually collaborate.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And to remind yourself for some self-care in the process, probably.
Breathe once in a while. Breathe.
Yeah, breathe.
Sometimes you gotta eat. Gotta make sure you eat. Gotta make sure you sleep a little.
Well, what an exciting production for OmniArts Nebraska to start their production season. I know they did a few things this last fall, but this is their first production basically of the year. And what a
At the Johnny Carson Theater.
what a meaningful play to start off with.
For sure, we like it. Like you said, there's a lot of these plays that are addressing these issues that are on the forefront of everybody's minds, either being written or being produced now. And it's neat to see that some of them have been here for a while. And it's like, oh hey, somebody wrote this almost 20 years ago. How about that? And
You'd
that's
be
something.
Shocked what people wrote 80 years ago.
I know, and that stuff is now being. They're going, oh hey, look at this. Forget about this. Yeah, we did apparently, or it just never really got done, maybe. maybe that was part of the thing. Got written and everybody went, we can't do that, or they didn't want to go there. But now everybody's like, yep, we're going there.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about this because it needs to be talked about.
So round robin, what is your most favorite show that you've ever done or seen?
You're not allowed to say this one. That's a cop-out. Because that's the actor always says, well, the current show is always my favorite. It's like, no,
I'll
can't
find
say
number
that.
2.
I guess I'll start. I think one of the shows that I'm most proud of was actually something I did last summer with OmniArts. It was a new script, Happy Birthday Lily, by Jillian Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Friend of the podcast.
It explored kind of similar themes of self-acceptance and being able to cut through what society thinks you should be like, or what you should be, and accepting yourself for who you are. It was very wonderful play, wonderful experience. It was provocative in many different ways. There was a hair bit of nudity,
Yes.
especially for myself in that show. But
Just an entire scene.
yeah, like a 10-minute nude scene.
Just a 10-minute nude scene.
She was talking about that on the podcast.
She was.
Oh,
she was joking about it, and
bet.
she was actually praising her actor. She's like doing such a great job.
Well,
She's like, I could never do it.
She was afraid to ask people to audition because she felt like she was asking to see them nude. If she's asking them to audition for the play, so she was going to feel uncomfortable about that.
She was calling it behind the scenes her naked play.
Her naked play.
Her naked play.
I'm doing a naked play. I'm like, are you really? She's
What
so
about
great.
you?
I'll go an entirely different direction.
Okay.
One of the first productions that I got to work with after graduating from Wesleyan was a Wesleyan project. One of my year had done a big production. Her final project was to do an immersive version of the Scottish play. We'll go with the Scottish play.
Sure,
today.
we'll say Scottish play.
Yeah, a immersive. So we took Wesleyan's entire theater building became the venue, and then actors wandered around, and audience was allowed to just kind of follow whoever they wanted to follow. I did. It was incredible. It was based off of some work that's done in New York.
Okay.
And immersive theater is just becoming a more common venue.
Yes, I love it.
But I got to do the fights for that. There were some really fun moments in that. The big Macbeth-Macduff fight at the end is incredibly fun. We did something really cool with the murder of the Macduffs. Spoiler alerts for the Scottish play, I guess.
Well,
everyone dies.
Shakespeare. Go
But
figure.
that has been the biggest bit of stage violence that I've gotten to direct, and that was years ago now. But I'm so proud of the work that everyone did on that production.
So you do fight choreography as well?
Yes.
Excellent.
What a great skill.
I know, it is, and there's not enough. I love it. There's not enough sword fighting in plays.
We could do an entire other episode on it. Call me in. We'll talk about it. I can talk for hours.
More sword fights, please.
That would be great.
I love it. The name of the production is Cock, written by Mike Bartlett, directed by Christian Novotny, and that production runs February 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. That starts at 7:30 p.m. and February 25th at 2 p.m. That is the Johnny Carson Theater at the Lead Center for Performing Arts. So go on down and see this production. You have not seen one like this, I guarantee you, and they're going to do a fantastic job. I can tell. I'm getting the vibe.
Yes. They're ready.
They are ready. They are ready. Thank you very much for talking with us this morning. We drug you up early on a
So nice to
Sunday
meet you.
morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
It's been fun.
Always.
Tickets are available through the Lead Center for Performing Arts ticket office at 402-472-4747 or online at www.leadcenter.org. Thank you for listening and supporting the arts in the Platte River area and beyond. Please subscribe to our podcast so you are sure to catch all of our future episodes and join us on social media. See you next time on the Platte River Bard.